A very good afternoon to all our viewers. For each one of the viewers here, I would like to inform you that the session today is on the kitchen fire suppression systems. That is, both our kitchen fire suppression systems, whether the commercial as well as the domestic. My name is Kaveri, and before we start off with the session, I would like to tell you a little about what is it that you will see during this session. Initially, we'll do a quick brief on ceasefire, something about our company. We take so much of pride in, and then we will move on to discussing the products which are the king for the day. That is our kitchen suppression systems. To help me with the showcasing the kitchen suppression systems, I have with me our subject matter expert who will join us at that moment and not only talk to you about the product but also demonstrate the product for you. At the end of the demonstration, we will have a session wherein we will invite your questions so that in case you have any doubts or clearances that you require for it, we will be able to support you. So to begin with, I would like to talk to you about what Ceasefire is. Ceasefire is one of those very rare brands where you find so many different types of products under one umbrella. Our 360-degree fire safety solutions encompass all kinds of products which include the fire extinguishers, which may be the very common and popular water, foam, carbon dioxide, powder-based extinguishers. But at the same time, we also have all those products which are application-based. That means are application-based fire extinguishers, which include products like a launcher, which is not just a handle extinguisher, but can be thrown into the fire and it would start off, it would get activated automatically. Apart from that, let's look at another very amazing product, our B+, which is a specialized product or a specialized solution for Class B fires. Added to that is yet another range of products, which is our watermist range, where we've used the advanced technology of atomization to bring to you a range of fantastic products, fantastic handheld, as well as the large size fire extinguishers, which are watermist based. Apart from the extinguishers, we have these systems. Now, these systems are the customized, designed systems which would be designed as per the requirement of the customer and include all sorts of systems based on various applications, which could include the microenvironment systems. For example, our Ceasefire Mini, which is the smallest of the solutions for the panels or for microenvironments, and our in-panel tube-based system, CQRS, which is there for different kinds of panels, which could be electrical or any kind of enclosed panels. Our system products, what we call as system products, are normally products or solutions which are designed for various applications, kitchen being one of such applications. But apart from kitchen, we also have total flooding systems, which could be either gaseous or could be water mist based. The Ceasefire products are all certified by multiple quality standard agencies. Now, these agencies include LPCB, EN3, EN166, we have PED, we have MED, we have Eurocert, LPCB. Apart from that, our manufacturing unit, which is one of the best in the world, is certified by ISO 9001 and by OSAS. So with all these different certifications that we have the confidence to move, not or to become, we've moved not only absolutely as the leaders, the forerunners as far as India is concerned, or the Indian subcontinent is concerned, we've also forayed into the rest of the world. Today, we have our business license with the UAE. We are in Qatar. We are in, that is in Bahrain. We are there in Africa, in Kenya, as well as in Congo. We have our dealings with France. We also are there in Bangladesh, in Sri Lanka, and in Nepal. In India, We are the forerunners as far as the company is concerned and our products are concerned, not only because of the quality of the product that we have, but also because we are so widely spread across the country. But we are trying and striving for the same in UK, where we've already started operations. We've already started picking up orders and delivering orders to our clients and to our partners. And we have got stock points there. We have our our warehouses there and offices there. In fact, a center like the one that you're seeing here, which we call as the AI Center, Advanced Intelligence Center, where most of our R&D work also starts off, we have a center like this in Birmingham, right where you people would be, close to where you people are. So a very, very warm welcome once again to this session, wherein in this session today we are going to pick up the best of the kitchen suppression systems that you would get to know about, and that is the ceasefire kitchen suppression systems of two different variants. So these variants would be the water mist as well as the wet chemical variant. However, to talk more about these variants and where can they be used, I would like to invite Pranav Diwan. Pranav Diwan is our subject matter expert, and he is the person who would be able to tell you more about this. Pranav.
Thank you, Kaveri. We have another very interesting session for you with the kitchen suppression system. So without any further ado, let me quickly take you through what we have in store for you. Today we're going to show you two kind of variants, the wet chemical and the water mist variant, as Kaveri just said. And both these variants are going to be available in commercial kitchen and in your domestic kitchen.
So when we say commercial kitchen, we are talking about hotels, restaurants, or anywhere where you have mass production of food.
Yes.
Right.
And then you have the domestic kitchen in your homes. So they can be protected too now with our both the variants.
As well as the student stays that are there now, where you have a lot of people from various countries coming and staying there, and their cooking methods are very different. So like if you say in India, a lot of the food that we have it involves a lot of frying. So yes, let's talk about the wonderful kitchen suppression systems.
So Kaveri, what's so wonderful about ceasefire kitchen suppression system? These are all standalone systems. You do not require external help. These are operated by a pre-filled supply cylinder, which are pressurized or pre-pressurized, and they are connected to your supply lines, which take the extinguishing agent from the cylinder to your fire source. And what do we cover? We cover all the fryers, we cover everything behind the plenum, and we cover the duct. The actuation is pretty simple. I think the most appreciative of the whole thing would be how the system can be installed so easily, operated so easily, and maintained so easily. Okay, the easy being the key word. Now, if you look at these systems, the operation of these systems is by just a singular HST, a heat sensing tube. Now, the heat sensing tube, people who have already watched our CQRS programs will remember that it's a modified polyamide. It is very sturdy. It can be maintained in harsh environments, and it is very easy to install as against any mechanical system. Your HST is a pneumatic pipeline which can detect fire either by touching of the flame to the HST, or it can be operated with rapid rise in ambient temperature. Both being the cases where it could be a rate of rise or fixed temperature. Ranging from 80 to 90 degrees for flame and 150 to 180 degrees for your ambient conditions. Now, if you were to also understand how these systems operate, very simply, you have HST which goes across your plenum. Okay, it covers everything under the hood. Okay, it is not like point detectors, like fusible links or fusible plugs. It is a complete protection under the hood.
Even so the house where the burners are being protected, it is behind the plenum that is being protected, and the ducts that are there which get protected.
Absolutely. The HST is the only medium by which you can actually extend it even into the duct or the flow area, and you can detect fire over there.
Absolutely. So it's not one point as you would have in fusible links, where there's one place where the fire happens, and if it by chance is below the fusible link, that's where the fire could get detected. So that's a system that we no longer are looking at. We're looking at a linear detection by mode of using HST, a heat sensing tube.
Yes. And to complete the operation, the HST is pressurized with dry nitrogen. This dry nitrogen is available on the head of our indirect low pressure valve. As the pressure decreases due to any rupture in the tube or any puncture in the tube due to heat, the pressure drops, the valve opens, and a separate delivery line takes in your extinguishing to your fire source.
So the extinguishing agent could either be water mist in the Enviro system, which is the water mist system, or it could be wet chemical in case of the ultra or the wet chemical system.
Now, if you were to understand the extinguishing process, it's very simple. If it's water mist, water mist just falls into the fire zone in the kitchen. It evaporates, and in that evaporation, it takes away the heat from the immediate source of the fire. It doesn't have to actually fall onto the fire. So it's pretty safe. There's no thermal shock, there's no electrical shock, and the fire just diminishes over there.
And there is no splash by means of, if it was absolute water in its normal form, falling off that water into a pan which has oil in it would cause a lot of splash,
Yes.
which does not happen in the case of water mist, because these droplets are so small that by the time they reach this, the pan where the oil is, even before they can enter, they evaporate.
Yes. And this water mist technology is it's enhanced. The enhanced water mist production is done by a specialized pulse rotor technology, where you have a specialized rotor within the cylinder. It helps makes the propellant and exits it from the nozzle as a bubble mixture, which increases the collision velocity outside the nozzle, and this produces very fine mist. On the other hand, if we have the wet chemical falls on very gently on top of the fire. The chemical in itself comes as a premix. It's very easy to fill your cylinders, and this premix, this foam which forms due to saponification on top of the fire source or your cooking oil, gently takes away heat from the source and does not allow water to come in contact with your fuel. And as water evaporates, it cools the fuel, and the thick foam stays on till the time the temperatures have come well below the self-emission.
And this is very important because here we are talking about a pan which is full of oil. We are talking about a particular pan full of material which is hot, and there's a fire source probably below it which is continuously giving it more and more heat. So what is required is to bring the pan full of whatever the oil that we are using. We've got to bring the temperature of that down. Not just the surface, but the entire pan full of oil has to be cooled. And that's where both the water mist as well as the wet chemical play an important role.
And to complete this, the certification, we have the LPS 1223 certification for commercial kitchens. And for domestic kitchen, we have verified or witnessed the whole quality and the extinguishment by BSI. So you can be totally assured to the quality and the working of these kind of equipments.
I could see the use of this in the domestic kitchens today. When we leave the kitchens, when you have so many kids at home all the time, they're not there in schools are not opened up, kids are cooking, or because you are at home and we are all working from home more often than not, there's a lot of rush to do things, and the food gets left, cooking in an unattended manner. So the chances of fire is always there. For the safety of your kids, your family, and your loved ones, having a domestic kitchen suppression system makes a lot of sense today.
So, Kaveri, let the viewers join me in the AI Center demonstration room. I will explain all the components, the advantages, the functioning of the whole equipment, and finally, but not the least, the most interesting part of it all is to see the live demonstration, putting out the fire there. Equipment and customized by our design team, which is totally trained by LPS 123 standards, to which these systems would comply. So let's look at some of the components which are most interesting in this system. Come. As viewers, we will come in and close and see The most interesting part of the kitchen separation system is the heat sensing tube, the HST. This black tube runs directly from the cylinder and across the plenum, covering all portions of the plenum and the duct. The HST has been designed to automatically start the system, and its continuous layout allows you to have hot and cold regions fully covered over the counters. It also covers the duct and detects fire in any flue or behind the plenum or extractor. Now this kind of a coverage allows for a lot of advantages. For very first thing, it is not mechanical, it is pneumatic. So cleaning of this system and maintenance of this system is very low. Next thing, as it provides complete coverage, it allows the chef to have his hot and cold portions below the hood, and he can change it as per his requirement for the day. HSC also allows that you can have a very quick response to the system, and there cannot be any mechanical faults with the system as in per se. The next best thing about this system is the nozzles. If we come and see over here, we have nozzles. These are the water mist nozzles. Water mist nozzles are spaced at a maximum of 0.4 meters to about 0.450 meters. They can cover hood sizes from 0.4 to about 8 meters. If we come to our wet chemical nozzles, we have nozzles which can be spaced at maximum 800 mm or 0.8 meters, and this can cover hood lengths from say 0.8 to about 8 meters. If you have selective coverage, then even you can go up to 10 meters. Now nozzles from Ceasefire have been designed in such a way that they have the intricate requirement of the extinguishing agent, plus they have very specific coverage, and as you would have seen, these are placed, they are fixed and they do not move. So in your daily working as against a lot of competitive nozzles, these nozzles do not change their directions and cover your wrist at all times. Now let's come and look at some of the new features we have with wet chemical valve. If we come on this side, we have a very specialized valve. This is an indirect low pressure valve. Now to this valve is connected a ball valve lever. This lever position is very important to know if the system has been commissioned or decommissioned. And this can be monitored by a reed switch and a signal generator, which can be used to be by a monitoring panel to see how and what is the status of this ball valve. So we'll look at the response panel later. Let me tell you something more about the cylinder sizes available. With wet chemical, we have the 11.5, the 18 liter and the 56 liter, 27 liter cylinder. While for water mist, we have the 11.5, 27 and 56 liter cylinders, which can be used as a singular or multiple combination or a bank. So for wet chemical, we have a premix, and this premix has to be filled within the cylinder and it's pressurized. So both the systems have the similarity that they are standalone systems. They do not require any external source. They are filled and pressurized, and they require no external energy source to run them. So your wet chemical is going to work on the fire by saponification. It froths over oil, and it will form a complete layer, cutting off any air supply to the oil, plus cooling the system. For water mist, on the other hand, the water mist falls onto the surface of the fire, and it evaporates without even touching the surface into steam. And with this steam, the whole area is inerted by steam, the fire is put out, and of course the energy which is used to evaporate water will cool the systems also. Both these systems are certified by LPCB under the LPS 1223 standard. And if we were to look at our response panel, please come on that side. Now we have a very interesting response panel. It's a microprocessor based panel which can monitor up to 4 systems. What it can monitor is that it can monitor the ball valve open and close position of the wet chemical system. It can also monitor the HST pressure, and it can indicate a loss in HST pressure, and it can also be integrated to your third-party devices like fire alarms. So your fire alarm can be integrated to this panel, and this panel can give an indication as to occurrence of any event on this panel. The next thing it has is inbuilt power supply. This power supply does two parts. One, it has intelligent charging system for your batteries, and next it has a power supply which can run the hooters also. So if we were to see, the next in line is our domestic range. In domestic range also we have two kinds of systems. We have the watermist system and the wet chemical system. Today we'll be doing a demonstration of watermist system for domestic range, and for a commercial range we will show you both the wet chemical and the watermist system. So as the oil is heating up, let's look at some small parameters or any questions you might have before that. So let's look at what these systems can further do. Domestic range, okay, is certified by BSI. So it's not more of a certification, it's more of a verification. So we have a whole lot of parameters which we have done for this domestic range on lines or similar lines to a commercial range, and which have been verified by BSI. So let's go ahead and look at the demonstration. Okay viewers, for the purpose of demonstration, let's see what we have created. Over here we have our deep frying trays. In this we have put in oil. We have put them on small burn. As they rise in temperature, you'll be able to see the temperature over here. As the temperature moves ahead of 300 or above 370 degrees centigrade, the oils are going to catch fire. What you are going to be looking at, the efficacy of the system, how the system runs, what is the coverage, how it puts out the fire. Plus you will see that all the nozzles are going to cover the frying area, the plenum and the duct. So as the oil is heating up, we will wait till there's a self-ignition, and then we'll see how the system is actuating. So we have the first fire. The wet chemical system is on fire. As you see, the temperature is 336 degrees centigrade. I will ask my fireman to now switch off the power supply to this unit. We let the fire grow, and as the fire reaches the HST and the temperature reaches, the HST is going to burst. The system is going to get activated. The agent is going to come on top of the fire. What you need to know is how efficiently the agent falls onto the fire, and preventing any flame out, protecting the user. Besides this thing, let me tell you something about the agent. The agent is a biodegradable agent, and it can be used for degreasing purposes. It can be used for cleanup post fire, and let's patiently wait for this fire to grow, and the fire, let's see how the fire is getting put out. So anytime soon we are going to have a burst. You'll hear the HST burst, and you will keep watching the temperature. The temperature is over 344 degrees centigrade now. And that's it. So that's a very quick extinguishment and a very gentle spray. You can see the duct nozzle spraying on top. So we have coverage for the fryers, everything behind the plenum and in the duct. So let's look at the fire from a close point. As you see, the fire has totally been put out. Most of this spray is going to help you degrease your system, and the cleaning process is going to be very quick and easy. Let's look at the temperature. It's about 114 degrees centigrade, which is far below the self-ignition temperature of about 330 and above.
अगर वो बोलने के लिए मसाला है तो अलग बात.
Okay, viewers, excuse me. We are moving on to our next demonstration, the watermist demonstration. As you see, the oil is heating up. We have reached temperatures of about 330 degrees centigrade. Very soon we are expecting a fire in this system, and post that we'll look at the extinguishment for watermist system, and then we'll go on to our domestic range. So we have a fire. Fire is ready. I will ask my fireman to cut off the power source. As you know, these systems can be integrated to cut off your solenoid valves supplying gas supply, or to electrical relays if there are electrical equipment. So that can be managed by through your PJ switch on the end of your HST, or it can be done by the response panel. So let's see how this fire grows. Keep watching the temperature. You will see by what efficiency or efficacy your watermist sprays onto the fire and puts it out. So we'll patiently watch as the fire grows and cuts out the HST. So temperature is rising. It's about 348 degrees now. $352. Watermist nozzles are also arranged that the spray goes away from the user, so it protects it by any radiation from the flame, which could harm the chef or anybody using the equipment. So we've reached 360 degrees centigrade. So anytime soon you're going to see here the HST burst, and with that bursting the system will actuate. With the HST losing its pressure, the cylinder will start sending water to the nozzle where the mist is formed. Within the cylinder there is a specialized rotor which allows to particleize water to a very special particle size of about 0.54 microns or 54 microns. And as soon as the system actuates, you can also hear your response panel giving out an alarm. So anytime now we'll see the actuation. (390 degrees centigrade), and that's it. Viewers, as you can see, most of the extinguishing agent water has evaporated. There is very little water left on the surface or on the equipment. And since this water is drinkable quality, you have no contamination of your kitchen. You can get back to work as soon as you have cleaned up. So we are waiting next for our domestic kitchen fire. As you can see on your screen, the temperature has reached 43 degrees centigrade. That is the beauty of water mist. The water mist really cools the fuel down. There is no chance of reignition post this. So let's wait for the fire in our domestic kitchen. Okay viewers, our domestic kitchen fire is about to happen. We have reached about 338 degrees, 339 degrees centigrade. Anytime soon we should have a fire. As soon as the fire comes on, my fireman will cut off the supply of LPG to the burners. This is simulating the same condition as in the case of real practical fire when there will be a fire. The system has the capability of sending a signal to a solenoid valve or a relay to cut off any gas supply or electrical supply to the heating unit. So very soon we should see a fire over here. Here we are about to have flame. The temperature has reached about 356 degrees centigrade. Our cylinder with water in a stored pressure of 15 bar is ready. Our pipeline is on. Our two nozzles are aiming at the base of the fire. As soon as there is a fire, the HST is going to burst, initiate our discharge from the cylinder, and water mist is going to come directly on top of the fire and put it out. So where water mist systems are charged at 15 bar, your wet chemical systems are charged at 19 bar. And accordingly, your PGS pressure gauge switch settings are set in to identify low pressure or discharge of cylinder. Very soon we should see a fire over here. So we are reaching temperatures around 370 degrees centigrade. Very soon we should see a fire here. As soon as the fire lights up, my fireman will run in, cut off the gas supply, and we'll let the system do the rest. That's flame, cut off gas supply. So as the flame rises, it is going to heat up the HST, which is in the plenum. The HST is going to burst. We're going to hear a loud sound of and fire extinguishment. These have been put out. Temperature has come to about 231 degrees centigrade. It is well below the reignition temperature. So we are not going to have a reignition. Temperature is on it. Okay, and the flame is totally out. We have a temperature of about 213 degrees centigrade. Is that going to come in? Show our viewers the deep fryer. The flame is totally out now. And there's no chance of ignition. There's no contamination. And in case of domestic kitchen, this is a very big requirement. You see, all the food requirements of our everyday do not come from anywhere else but from the kitchen. So watermist is a very nice application for domestic kitchen fires. Though we have the wet chemical also with us. So that's all from our demonstration and at Advanced Intelligence Center. Over and back to Vishal.
So we saw here a demonstration on the kitchen suppression systems, both the domestic as well as the range, that is the commercial range. And something that struck me, you know, as a person who also does a lot of work in the kitchen every day at home, is the fact that, you know, there were two things that occurred to me. The first thing was, Pranav, that as a person cooking, probably the reaction of the cook cannot be fast enough if there was something which, you know, if I had to put out the fire in a manual manner, I may not be able to react that fast. And the second thing was that when you're talking about the kitchen fuel, it is really superheated. And the only way of putting out fire is not only to ensure that the surface fire, because you just can't remove the surface fire, the entire fuel has to be cooled below ignition point.
Absolutely.
And that is why these two agents and the technology which is being used come handy. So that both the agents, whether it be the very, very efficient water mist, which is also very environment friendly, you're just using very clean water, clean drinking water is being used. And on the other hand, we're using wet chemical, efficiently putting out fire, cooling down the fuels below the ignition point. Imagine the way the wet chemical, so the water mist agent, it could bring down the temperatures so fast.
Yes, from around 400 degrees, we went down to only 43 degrees. And that is the most amazing part of water mist. No thermal shock, no electricity, conductivity. Most of this agent, which is water, is just going to evaporate. There's no collateral damage, not much of cleaning requirements. It's just amazing.
Absolutely. So, viewers, this is the time for you to get back to us with questions just now. You can put your questions in the Q&A section of your the window here. This is for people who are there on our Zoom platform. For those who are the webinar platform, for those who are on Facebook, we'll be very happy to respond to any question that you put forward to us on the Facebook also. So request you, Manish, if you could just, any questions that you have, we'll be happy to respond to.
While we're waiting for the questions, Kaveri, it's so amazing. As you have seen, there's no moving mechanical parts in this thing.
Yes.
Less than the moving number of mechanical or moving parts. Let's say it's your maintenance requirement. And besides that thing, there's more surety into operation of the system. You don't have to worry about dependency on a lock to be interlocked or any of the fusible links not working or not being installed. It's just a simple pressurized tube. As soon as there's fire, there's a rupture, and the system just activates.
And the beauty of this system is also in the fact that for when you're looking at, you meet up on with a user who needs the system fitted into his kitchen. Each system is made as per the kitchen it is required for. That means it is designed for the kitchen it is required for.
And we have trained designers for that.
We have trained designers. People are trained into how to do the installation in an unobtrusive manner. One, not only to make sure that the working in the kitchen is not hindered, also to keep the aesthetics of the kitchen in place. Today, whether it is a commercial kitchen or a kitchen at home, aesthetic of the kitchen is something which we all would like to maintain. And that it gets maintained by looking at the way the entire installation is done today. So as I can see currently, there are no questions, but we do request you that in case there is some question, do not hesitate to get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to respond. In the meantime, we would like to thank you and request you to keep your eyes and ears peeled for the next session that we have, which will happen very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.